Hello and welcome to Focus on Disabilities, and this interview was the people at Broadscope Disability Services. More specifically, my guest this episode is Mary
Schinkowitch.
Schinkowitch from Broadscope Disability Services.
Yes.
And what do you do at Broadscope?
I'm the executive director.
Okay. What is Broadscope in the broadest sense, no pun intended?
So our offices are located in Greenfield, Wisconsin, but most of our work is done out in the communities, primarily in Milwaukee and Waukesha.
And what exactly is it?
So we have a few services here. We have an independent living program where we assist individuals with disabilities to live as independently as possible in the community, because I always say as independently as possible, because that can mean different things for different people. And their level of assistance that they might need. And then we have an employment services program. So we work with individuals from ages like starting 14 and up to work on like job readiness skills, and then building a resume and building volunteer experience and work experience and interviewing skills. And then when people do have a job, if they need kind of extra assistance of like on the job coaching, we provide that as well. And then we also have our respite program, and that is designed for people who are caring for an individual with a disability to be able to get a break and take care of those things that they need to take care of for themselves, so that they can, make themselves the best caregiver they can be. So that's kind of in a nutshell.
And what would first, before I launch into this next question, would you refer to Broadscope as a company? What do you refer to it as?
Usually an organization, because we're a nonprofit organization. So,
okay. What is the organization's mission?
It is to advance opportunities for individuals with disabilities and their families. And our focus is on enhancing the lives of individuals with a broad scope of disabilities. So that's kind of where that came from. And their families. And we do this by fostering inclusion, equality, and empowering freedom of choice.
How long has Broadscope Disability Services existed?
So we have actually been in existence for about 53 years this year. We were initially United Cerebral Palsy of Southeastern Wisconsin, and we were that until 2013. But we found that it just didn't really encompass all of the work that we did, and it was kind of misleading to folks sometimes. So the board of directors and the organization decided in 2013 to kind of rename and rebrand so that people understood more what we were doing. Our focus wasn't as narrow as that. So
when you were United Cerebral Palsy, my mother and father have told me stories of me participating in this like walk that happened, and they had this walk for United Cerebral Palsy. Is that still happening?
Yep. So we have, it's Joe's Run, Walk, and Roll. We actually just had the 26th year in 2022 of that event. A small hiatus for COVID, but we were actually able to bring that back a little bit sooner than the rest because it was an outside activity. So we were able to bring that back in 2021. And so Joe Lubarski was an individual who was on the board of directors for United Cerebral Palsy. He had cerebral palsy himself, and he kind of started out doing sit-ups in his basement. That was how the whole item started. And he would get people to sponsor him to do these sit-ups, and they never realized exactly how many sit-ups he could do. So they would sponsor him, like an X amount of dollars per sit-up. And so he started out fundraising that. And so then after that, he moved it out into the street. He lived in kind of like west of the city, and he worked downtown. And so he ran from his house to work, and again got people to sponsor him. And so people would kind of line the streets, and he would run from his home to his office and raise money that way. And then it became kind of what it is now, which is a family-friendly, accessible, inclusive event. And we do that in September every year. So it's currently the second Saturday in September every year.
So those looking for a thing to do during Labor Day, and you want to support people with not only cerebral palsy, but also literally every single disability that exists in this world. And you live in Wisconsin, do that.
Thank you.
But also, I don't know if this did you already address what counties Broadscope serves?
So for independent living and employment services, it's Milwaukee County. But for our respite services, we're kind of all of southeastern Wisconsin. So Ozaukee, Washington, Waukesha, Milwaukee, Racine, and a little bit in Kenosha as well.
And anywhere. And are you only in Wisconsin, or are you?
We are, yeah. Once we pulled away from United Cerebral Palsy, we were no longer part of the national affiliate. So we're just strictly southeastern Wisconsin.
And you touched on this earlier in the interview, but how can the public be involved with Broadscope?
Well, to help us to further our cause, we have 3 big fundraising events every year. So we have the Joe's Run, Walk, Roll that we talked about, always the second Saturday in September. And that's currently at Hart Park. Oh, sorry, my lights went out there. It's on a sensor.
Oh God.
So currently at Hart Park, we are considering moving that, but you can always find information about that on our website, which is www.broadscope.org. And we also have the Taste of Milwaukee, and that one's actually coming up pretty quickly here on March 9th. That's at the Italian Community Center. And we bring in about 20 different restaurants to offer samples of their food and beverages. And it's just a fun night. We have music, and we do 50-50 raffles, silent auctions, and wine pulls, things like that. And then we also do a golf outing that we partner with Molson Coors for in the summer, always the second Monday in June. And that's where, again, another one of our fundraisers. So those are kind of our supporting things to be able to fill the gaps outside of our funding sources, because the services that we provide are typically funded by various government entities, like family care, children's long-term support waiver, IRIS, stuff like that. And but it doesn't quite do it all. So we have these fundraisers to kind of fill those gaps.
So, so that last thing you mentioned is kind of like the food festival type thing.
The Taste of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of our version of a gala. A lot of places do, where you come and have a chicken dinner or whatever, and they do a program. But ours just has that twist of different restaurants offering sample sizes of their food, and you buy a ticket, and then that's all included. All of the food samples and the beverage samples are included in the price of your ticket, and you get to just walk around and talk to the various vendors and get their samples. And then you also get to learn a little bit about us and what we do.
So, and my final question before the outro here, is there anything you'd like to quote unquote plug?
Well, I think specifically our respite in Racine. we feel like there's probably a greater need out there, and we've tried doing some different outreach opportunities and haven't really had a lot of luck. So if there are families out there that don't have other funding, like children's long-term support waiver funding, but are in need of some services, maybe their child doesn't have a disability that it falls under the category that would give them long-term support funding, we'd love for them to reach out to us. And I just, I don't know, give me a call, shoot us an email. We'd love to, just introduce you to what we do. I myself have been with Broadscope for 28 years. I started out in the independent living program, working as a community support coordinator. So that program, obviously very near and dear to my heart. And just had some amazing experiences of being able to help folks who, had lived with their parents all of their lives and move out into the community as an adult. And, some people needed a full-time caregiver because physically they weren't able to take care of their care needs on their own. And some just need, a little bit of guidance and assistance or money management, that kind of thing. So that was, I don't know, it's pretty amazing to see somebody out on their own for the first time. And just, I don't know, just brings us a lot of joy and happiness to be able to facilitate that. And with our employment services program, someone getting a job in the community and being able to earn their own money and have that independence. It's just, we just feel very strongly about the things that we do and try to help folks however we can. So.
Okay. And thank you for being on my program, Mary
Schinkowitch.
Schinkowitch. That is a very hard name to pronounce.
If you take out the first C, it's a little bit easier because then you just have the SHIN. So.
Okay. Schinkowitch.
Schinkowitch.
For more information about the people at Broadscope and their mission, you can visit the following website, https://www.broadscope.org. And for more focus on disabilities, you can click to the side of this interview or go to the Racine Video Production Workshop YouTube channel, linked directly to this side of my face. And the things they'll be there, and you can watch them with your eyeballs, not any other parts of your body. Focus on Disabilities comes out whenever the people at the Racine Video Production Workshop decide to release new YouTube content related to Focus on Disabilities. And we'll see you next time for more Focus on Disabilities YouTube content.
Thank you, Jude.
You are welcome.